2.
Hello, my name is Charlie Downey, and this is In Your Face. Today we have 3 topics to talk about, maybe more. Wiggins and Love trade. Cavaliers and T-Wolves doing business. Ray Rice beating up his girlfriend, making her unconscious and dragging her out of an elevator. And the Price trade, with Price going to the Tigers. But first, a word from our sponsor, Dove, a tissue that the bogies will be attracted to. Back to the show. Okay, Wiggins and Love trade. What are your thoughts on this?
You know what? I think it's a good trade. Love is still really young, but I think Wiggins. I think if they want to win a championship right now, that would be the best thing to get Love. But if they're looking to the future, I don't think it would. I actually like the trade, but if they wanted to look to the future, I think Wiggins would have been the best choice. But I think it's a great trade.
They need more three-point threats, and Love is the better choice here. I disagree with you. I think Love can shoot the outside and be an inside presence. Wiggins, I'm not sure about. I never really saw him play, but I don't think he has that versatility that Love can bring to the table.
I thought Wiggins was under a lot of pressure playing with a lot of the stars, but I agree with you both. Kevin Love is one of the best players in the league, and Andrew Wiggins is new, and he would be under pressure playing with all the big stars. Now on to Ray Rice. Ray Rice beat up his girlfriend, made him unconscious. Takes a few blows to make a girl unconscious, and then dragged her out of the elevator.
Well, this is not right. And he was only suspended 2 games. I mean, Josh Gordon was suspended the entire year, and he was doing marijuana. So they're saying that marijuana is just that much more, bad. But it's terrible what Ray Rice did.
In what world is this okay? I mean, really? Nobody should be doing this, whether you're an NFL star or a normal human being. A normal human being would be spending a year in jail. But, of course, because you're in the NFL, you get special treatment. Oh, yay. So, yeah, it's not right. It is not fair, and nobody should be treated this way. A woman or a guy or somebody, anybody, should not be treated this way.
Agree with you both again. But I think it's absurd that Ray Rice was only suspended 2 games. I think the authorities should have taken it into their hands, and they should have done that. On to topic 3, the Price trade. Price with the Rays going to the Tigers.
Well, I do like the trade. Tigers are stocking up for the postseason. But another winner in this trade is actually the Seattle Mariners, who were part of the 3-way trade. They did get Austin Jackson. That'll give him a little speed, some fielding, and a solid hitter. I think that they didn't really give up much for him. So I think they actually got more, just as much as the Tigers got. Tigers lost a lot more people. I think it was a fair trade for the Seattle Mariners, and they're getting underlooked in this deal.
I love this trade. The Tigers should now be the favorite to win the AL pennant. They got the best pitching staff, not to mention Miguel Cabrera, or Miggy, as I affectionately call him. And another team to look at here, the A's,
Yes.
When they traded John Lester, they are the second favorite. I don't think they can beat the Tigers if they match them up one-on-one, but I really like this trade for the Tigers. It puts them as a favorite in the AL Central.
For the 3rd time today, I agree with you both. But I have to agree with Eli a little bit more. I do love this trade. But Austin Jackson, I think the the Mariners are the real winner in this. But commenting on what you said, I think actually the A's have the best pitching rotation and I think they could be the division champion, and they could win the AL and go to the championship for the World Series.
I just want to say something about that Tiger staff is that when you look at it, right, the players, you'll be like, oh, this is a great staff, but Verlander is having a very bad year, which makes this staff go down so much.
I agree with you. And to wrap it up, I'm Charlie Downey. This is
Eli Howell.
And
Justin Borsis.
thank you for watching. And A word from our sponsor, Dove. The bogies are attracted to your tissue. Dove. Thank you and good night.
3, 2.
Hi, I am Jason Goldstein, host of Face to Face, host to In Your Face, along with my comrades.
Brandon Urano.
Robert Dieters.
And today we're discussing all things NFL, from Andy Dalton's contracts to some New York Giants, as well as the Browns quarterback competition. Let's start with the Browns quarterback competition. Who do you think should win, Johnny Manziel or Brian Hoyer?
Well, it's got to be Manziel. Why would you take a guy like Hoyer? He hasn't done anything in his NFL career. He played a couple games, got hurt, and all of a sudden we think he's Peyton Manning. The best thing to do is let's see who's the best. Practice doesn't matter. Let's see who does best in the preseason. Let's try him out in the regular season. The Browns aren't playing for anything this year. They're not contenders yet. Try him out. See who does the best. Then we'll really know who is the best.
All right, Brian Hoyer. Yes, he got hurt last season with a torn ACL, but the couple games he played last year, he made a huge impact. Jason Campbell and Brandon Weeden were just there to step it in. And now you bring in Brian Hoyer. I think in this situation, he gets first team reps. He's going to be getting the starting job. Definitely, Johnny Football will never be heard of in 2 years.
I kind of have to agree with Brandon right there. I mean, why draft a guy in the first round if you're not going to play him unless you're sitting behind an all-time great? But you're talking about a guy like Brian Hoyer. Sticking in that AFC North, Andy Dalton signed a 6-year, $115 million contract. Did he deserve it, or was he overpaid?
Oh, he was way overpaid. Andy Dalton, 0 for 3 in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? Congratulations. You can have a great regular season with A.J. Green and connect with him, but besides that, you have nothing else. I understand you have a Giovanni Bernard, you have a Marvin Jones, and A.J. Green around you, and you can't win a playoff game. That's insane.
What has he done to deserve this money? It's a copycat contract of Kaepernick, and yes, that is a great acronym. What has he done? His list of accomplishments is yay high, right along with the Clippers. He hasn't done anything to deserve this money. Yes, he's gone to the playoff, but we're talking Tim Tebow and Mark Sanchez have more wins than him with far worse teams.
I agree. He does not deserve that money, especially with how many times he turns the ball over. Moving on to my New York Football Giants. How will Eli Manning do this season in Ben McAdoo's offense?
You know, I gotta say, I think the New York Giants are in a situation where they need to bounce back this season. I feel like it can happen. I think the Giants, they got off to a bad roll last year, but then they came back towards the end. I feel like they're gonna have a slump. I think they maybe go 3-3 in the beginning of the season, maybe come back a little bit, and I think this team goes 9-7 this year.
I think 8-8 would be a great accomplishment for the Giants. They really don't do much on offense. I like the move to get rid of Hakeem Nicks and bring in Odell Beckham Jr. Of course, he gets hurt. The biggest thing is we need to figure out who's going to play running back. Let's get one guy in there who can do the job. Sure, have your third down running back, but why can't we just get a solid running back there? I love what they did with the defense, though. They brought in some cornerbacks and Walter Thurman from Seattle, but we're still missing so many key parts, and it's a bad year to try to shift your offense because you didn't really bring in a lot to build off of.
Okay, but look, they also got Rashad Jennings, and I think that's a big pickup. He was with one of the worst teams last year. It was one of the Oakland Raiders. Assumingly that's where careers go to die. Well, Rashad Jennings, he brought that team up a little bit. I remember watching him against Tennessee Titans. I was there live.
Mm-hmm.
That was an amazing game for Rashad Jennings. Just ran through that D-line. But I feel like the New York Giants, they're going to be going against the NFC West this year. This will test Rashad Jennings. Is he a good running back? We'll find out this season.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I see him going 0-4 in the NFC West. There's no chance that they have to compete in the NFC West with any of those teams.
They can beat Arizona.
I disagree. I really do.
Wait. But remember, they've had success over the 49ers in the
yeah.
last couple of years. And I feel like that's the only win they can get. Besides that, I don't feel like they can get any wins. But I feel like their success over the Niners every year, they figure us out. Well, they figure out the Niners, But
I agree that they do match up well against the Niners, but they're going to have to score some points. They will have to score some points sooner or later, and that offense just can't do it against any of those NFC West defenses.
All right, well, I like the Giants' chances this season with the offensive line additions, but that could just be me being biased. Staying in the NFC East, earlier today, LaShawn McCoy said his goal is to get 2,000 yards this season. He led the league in rushing last season, and he's playing on Chip Kelly's offense. Brandon, what are the chances he does it again? He doesn't.
Oh, he'll lead the NFL in rushing, if not Jamal Charles. I think they're both fantastic backs. 2,000, though, that is a bit much. That's a high milestone to set.
I gotta say, LaShawn McCoy. I mean, you lose Deshaun Jackson. I think that LaShawn McCoy, I think, could eventually get 2,000 rushing yards this season just because they're out with Deshaun Jackson. He's gonna be a main target this year.
Yeah, anyways, that about wraps it up on this week's episode of Face to Face. In Your Face, excuse me. I'm Jason Goldstein along with
Brandon Urano.
Robert Dieters.
5, 4, 3.
Hello and welcome to In Your Face. I am your host, Jason Gerline. 2 challengers come up to the plate, 1 walk away. Today we have on my left
Nick Rice.
and on my right.
Chris Sylvester.
Let's get on to the topics. So, number 1, Kevin Love is going to the Cavs. What do you guys think about this?
Personally, I think it's a win for actually the Minnesota Timberwolves. They get themselves an Anthony Bennett, a solid, maybe not, obviously not the same as Kevin Love, but they also get a first-round pick. And given that the Cavaliers' history has not been all too favorable for them, they could actually turn around and get themselves a real solid mid-round first overall draft pick. And I think overall, Minnesota got themselves a pretty good deal.
No, I don't agree with you on that. I think Minnesota traded away the face of their franchise because Anthony Bennett last year, who was the first overall pick last year, looked like a bust in his first year. Granted, it was just his first year. He was a freshman coming out of UNLV. Who knows if he's a late bloomer? If he is, great. Now the Minnesota Timberwolves win that trade. Andrew Wiggins is a straight athlete, the best athlete in the draft. He wasn't the best player in the draft. I love the trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I like the new big 3, if you want to call it that they have there with Kyrie, LeBron, and Kevin Love. I think the Cavs get the better end of this deal, and I think the Cavs, easily are my Eastern
Well, I was
Conference
just
favorite
going to
now.
throw this in real quick. I mean, you know that the Minnesota Timberwolves got themselves a great player for the next 12, 14 years. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Cavaliers are basing all of their hope off of potential, what Kevin Love could bring to the table. He's played against mediocre competition. Now he comes to a Cleveland Cavalier team that you may expect to be in the playoffs.
I just think there's a lot of question marks surrounding Andrew Wiggins. Like I said, he was definitely the best athlete in the draft, but as far as players go, I think Jabari Parker a lot better.
All right, next topic. Johnny Manziel has partied all offseason, but it's time to get on that plane to go to soggy Cleveland. So, Johnny Manziel will not be starting for the Browns. What are your feelings about that?
Well, that's immediate answers. We were just talking about potential. Johnny Manziel is the definition of potential. I think this is a guy that can come in, though, and actually play relatively well, given that he scored 5 touchdowns against one of the best defenses in Alabama and was a very good quarterback during his junior season, along with winning the Heisman Trophy in 2012. This is a guy that can step in year number 1 and I believe can play extremely well. They're just trying to get him used to the playbook. I think the only problem right now is he's trying to adjust mentally to the game because obviously physically he has it down.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. Very surprisingly, I know maybe we're not supposed to right here, but I like the move going with Jed Hoyer first. He did a good job stepping in to I think 2.5, 3 games he played last year before the injury to Buffalo on that Thursday night game. Jed Hoyer, more of a pocket passer, NFL type quarterback, and I don't even know if you can call it an NFL type quarterback anymore. I think you're starting to see the game change. You're starting to see a lot of dual threat guys come into the league, guys like Robert Griffin III, Cam Newton, but Colin Kaepernick. But the difference between those guys and Johnny Manziel is those guys are 6'4", 6'5". Manziel, barely 6. So I don't know if he's going to hold up injury-wise in the NFL. Hopefully he can stay healthy and have a good career, but I have my doubts.
Reminds me a lot of Robert Griffin, by the way. Good early on, injury concerns obviously will be the issue.
All right, next topic. Very, very talented draft this year. But who is your breakout rookie? Let's start with Chris.
As far as NFL?
NFL, yes.
NFL, I think I'm probably going to have to go with a guy like Khalil Mack. I don't know how he fell that far down in the NFL draft. Now, we've seen first-round pick busts in Oakland a lot over the last couple of years. Names that come to mind, Rolando McClain, who I don't even think is playing NFL football anymore.
No, sir.
Darius Hayward-Bay, who for whatever reason was taken as high as he was. So let's hope that the curse is over in Oakland of ruining careers. I think I heard that from somebody earlier. But I really like Khalil Mack. I think he was the best player in the NFL draft all around, and I think he's going to have one heck of a career.
One guy that you mentioned, a guy that fell all the way to 5. How about one that falls all the way down to 21? The New Orleans Saints snag Brandon Cooks, the small but extremely shifty wide receiver out of Oregon State. This is a guy that can come in immediately, make big time plays. He's a shifty, kind of like a Wes Welker or Julian Edelman, and also has the speed that I believe beats a Welker, especially early on. And in that Saints offense, guys, anyone can catch passes when you have Drew Brees under center.
Just real quick before we have to go, your Super Bowl predictions.
I
Chris?
think Brandon Cook, we'll go with Chris first.
Well, I guess me first, best, not the second for best in this scenario here on In Your Face. But I'm going to go with Denver again, coming out of the AFC. But how about Green Bay? How about a nice little late 90s rematch? And I'll have Denver taking it this season.
I was talking about Brandon Cooks. Sorry to cut you off there, but Cooks for the New Orleans Saints, I think those Breeze-led Saints will be very good, taking on the New England Patriots, and I think I think New Orleans edges that one out coming up this season.
That's all the time we have today on In Your Face. This has been Jason Gerline with Nick Rice and Chris Sylvester. Join us next time.
Can you see me on the camera?
5, 4, 3.
Hello and welcome to In Your Face. I'm Daniel Levy alongside Matthew Kojima and Lewis Schmidt. Today we're going to be talking a variety of topics, but first we're going to start out the Ray Rice controversy. How will this affect the Baltimore Ravens? Matthew?
Well, I don't think that it'll make a very big difference. Like, their main offensive person is Joe Flacco and his main receivers. So overall, I don't think that Ray Rice will make a big difference. So I think they should be fine for the first 2 games.
Okay, and now Lewis?
I think they'll be fine for the first 3 games. If, I agree, if Flacco is what he was last season. But I still think that plays a big effect on the teams in their division, like the Steelers, their rivals. Because I don't know, it puts a lot of pressure on the Ravens to be that club without him.
All right, now we're talking Super Bowl picks. Matthew, let's go to you.
I personally think the Seahawks definitely have a big chance to win. They didn't really lose major players, and their defense is still top in the league. Like many people say, offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Definitely here, I think that applies.
Okay, and now Lewis.
Hey, I'm going to have to go back with a rematch of the Seahawks and the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to be fresh this year. They're going to have the sour taste of the years that they didn't make it to the postseason. And I think in this time, though, instead of 2006, it is going to be the Seahawks just because they've been in last year's Super Bowl and they have the advantage of experience.
Okay, NBA draft lottery. What do you guys think about that? Some people say it promotes tanking. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts, Matthew.
I personally think the NBA lottery is fine. It prevents people from just losing on purpose.
Okay, and now Lewis, on to you.
I like it because obviously I think the main problem with other sports is how undivided the money goes to. I like a market where it's very equal. It's a very even divided play experience, and I think NBA is a good example of what it should look like with that.
Okay, now on to baseball. One sentence, A's or Angels, Matthew, go.
It's going to be the A's. The Angels have terrific hitting with Trout, Pujols, and Hamilton, but in baseball, pitching always wins. Like if you looked at the San Francisco team of 2012 and 2010, they had terrific starting pitching.
Okay, now Lewis?
I'm going to have to go with the Angels just because they have almost every person on their club is a veteran, and they've all been in postseason before. I just don't see them not even winning it all.
Okay, and that's going to wrap it up here on In Your Face. I'm Daniel Levy alongside Matthew and Lewis signing out. Okay, Zach.
5,
to conduct ourselves better.
4, 3.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to In Your Face alongside Jason Gerline and Daniel Levy. I'm Noah Friedman. Guys, let's get right to it. The biggest topic right now in the NFL is Ray Rice's 2-game suspension, and Roger Goodell has been very criticized by everybody both the media and also the fans as well. So what does this do to his credibility, Daniel?
I think this absolutely shatters his credibility. I wouldn't trust Roger Goodell to suspend me for the most menial thing I could think of, which I'm having trouble thinking of right now. I honestly think that this is the most blasphemous thing Roger Goodell has done in his career as the NFL commissioner. I can't believe what he's done in this suspension. I mean, 2 weeks is absurd. And his excuse for this is that it's because for similar offenses, the suspension has been that long. I think that's a completely ridiculous excuse. I think why not? We should have suspended them for the whole season earlier. I just think it's blasphemous.
Jason Garline.
I kind of agree with what Levy says. If he's going to base the punishment on similar sentences, it's not time to follow that. It's time to become a leader and start a trend. Start punishing harder for these type of this disobedience against the league. And it's not just a disobedience against the league; it's against society. And people look up to Ray Rice, and if you're only going to give him 2 game suspension, it's not going to look good. It's a bad example for the kids, and it's a bad example for the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, guys, Roger Goodell should definitely get his head in check. 2 games is much too short. Anyways, let's move on to another topic, and a really, really big pioneering move by the San Antonio Spurs, hiring former 6-time WNBA All-Star Becky Hammon to be their assistant coach. She becomes the second female assistant coach, and the first full-time paid assistant coach as a female. Guys, how does this pave the way for women in sports?
Trailblazing. The Spurs have won the NBA championship last season with their fundamental play, and they're starting to set off like a trend by doing this hire. I think that she'll be good for the Spurs. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of media attention on her, but I think that if she does well enough, she's gonna gain some fame and she's gonna get a lot of respect around the league.
Daniel.
And I really think the bottom line really is she's gonna help the Spurs win games, and you can't argue with that. So if there's another female coach that wants to come into the NBA that can help a team win games, you better be right. A team's going to hire her, because that's what the NBA is all about.
She's definitely a pioneer. And speaking of pioneers, Kevin Love is a double-double machine, and he just got traded today from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That won't come into effect until August 24th, however, because Andrew Wiggins signed his rookie contract, and the NBA barred him from going to another team for 30 days. So the trade works out. It's Kevin Love to the Cleveland Cavaliers. In return, Minnesota will receive this year's number 1 pick, Andrew Wiggins, last year's number 1 pick, Anthony Bennett, and a first-round pick in the future from Cleveland. Guys, who got the better part of the deal? Daniel, I'll start with you.
Minnesota, absolutely. Andrew Wiggins is the kind of rookie who you can begin to build a franchise around, who you can begin to build a dynasty around. I think Cleveland traded for 2-3 championships at most. I think if Andrew Wiggins had stayed in Cleveland, stayed under LeBron's tutelage, I think that could have been a major dynasty, and that Andrew Wiggins could have taken over later on and and the Cleveland Cavaliers would have been good for the next 15 years.
Jason.
I think that you say 2 to 3 championships. Well, Cleveland's just looking for 1 right now. I mean, geez, the last championship was it the Browns back in the 1960s?
1960s, yeah.
I mean, this town's being tortured, and you can't blame Cleveland for wanting to get a championship right now. I mean,
of course, I completely understand wanting to win.
But the Timberwolves did win out in this deal. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying they did win out in this deal, but I disagree saying that it was a bad move. They want to win now. I mean, if they win now, Cleveland will be the fans of Cleveland will be off their back for at least another 60 years. So it'd be nice.
I'm indifferent about it. Cleveland wants to win now. They got the best player in that deal, and then Minnesota has someone to build around with new management as well.
And they'll have
Now,
a dynasty.
now we're going to move on to another topic now in Major League Baseball. The Hall of Fame committee has now decrease the number of times that you can be on the Hall of Fame ballot. They increased it from 15 years now to 10 years. So what does this do for people like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, who have been accused of taking performance-enhancing drugs? How do they now make a case for them being on the ballot now with 5 less years to do it?
First off, the voters in the Hall of Fame voting are ridiculous. Guys who belong in the Hall of Fame don't get into the Hall of Fame anymore because they're just they're debating stuff, and they should be better. But anyways, this hurts Barry Bonds' chances, obviously, of getting into the Hall of Fame. He retired how many years ago?
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
And you only have 3 more years left to get in the Hall of Fame. Unless something drastically changes in the development of his legacy, I don't think he's getting in.
Look. if you're an MLB Hall of Fame quality player, I think that you should be able to get in 10 years. If you haven't been able to get in 10 years, you don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, bottom line.
Now, to wrap up the show, we're going to do some Super Bowl predictions. Daniel, I want to start with you.
Broncos over Saints.
Texans over Seattle.
I like an all-West Coast matchup, San Francisco 49ers over the Denver Broncos. That's going to do it for this edition of In Your Face. For Jason Garoline and Daniel Levy, I'm Noah Friedman. Thanks for joining us tonight.
So we're doing that one thing?
Okay.
All right. All right, everyone. This is In Your Face with I'm Zach Ferber, along with Jordan Hunter and Christian Duhan. We're going to be talking about 3 topics today. Let's first talk about the Kevin Love trade. Kevin Love traded to Cleveland for Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Bennett, and a future first-round pick. What do you guys think about that trade?
Well,
Let's start with Jordan.
For Cleveland, it's a trade for now. They want to win now. You get Love, who's a potential top 5 player in the league right now. LeBron, who's arguably the best player in the league. And then you get a guy like Kyrie Irving, who is one of the great young point guards in the league. So they're trying to win now. They're trying to get a championship before LeBron, potentially leaves again because he only signed a 2-year deal. And then for Minnesota, they're getting 2 former first-round picks, number 1 picks, in Bennett and Wiggins, and then a future first. So with Cleveland, you're getting a win now, and with Minnesota, you're getting guys who can help you in the future. We don't know how good Wiggins will be. People say he has a better upside. We don't know that yet. He can turn into a bust. His summer league wasn't the best. So I think the winner of this for right now is definitely Cleveland. You ask me that question in 10 years, I'm probably going to be saying Minnesota.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you that right now. I'm sure Minnesota fans are burning Kevin Love jerseys right now because of the remarks that Kevin Love said to Minnesota, saying that he wants to be on a winning team. So having Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett come to Minnesota, it's actually a good steal for Minnesota. Andrew Wiggins is a potential star, and then you have Anthony Bennett, who had a slump in his rookie season. Really didn't show his game until the end of the season. I remember one game he had a good 22 and 18 rebounds. And seeing Andrew Wiggins play in college, and then seeing him play in high school, I definitely see Andrew Wiggins becoming a potential All-Star and hopefully a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree with you that he's gonna produce for Minnesota, especially with Ricky Rubio at the point, going to be lobbing him all these balls. And then a guy like Anthony Bennett, who he had a great summer league, so he has some upside also.
All right, that's very interesting. Very good opinions from both of you. Let's talk about Tiger Woods. Let's go to the back 9. Tiger Woods, he's playing in the Open Championship at Valhalla, and he's coming off back injury. Tiger has not won a major since 2008. Do you think there is any sort of chance for the former #1 golfer in the world to come back? Let's start with you, Jordan.
Do I think there's a chance for him to come back to his old form? No. But like you said, he hasn't won a major in 6 years. That has to say something. Guys like Rory McIlroy, they're stepping up. All these younger guys. So I think Tiger's window's closing, and it's closing very fast.
All right, Christian.
Well, sometimes I want to doubt Tiger, and sometimes I don't want to doubt Tiger. But at this point, I'm saying that Tiger, he's losing it. When he broke his leg in a championship game, it's kind of hard when you break your leg, because when you play golf, you need your legs, you need all your limbs. So messing up your leg is pretty hard when it comes to driving and all that other stuff. So I think Tiger's losing it now.
Yeah, very interesting. Tiger, the most popular name.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't, try to turn to Phil Mickelson and try to play till he's 50, because that's tough. With the cane, you never know.
All right,
maybe a walker.
Yeah. All right, last topic here. Kevin Durant supposedly going to Under Armour, leaving Nike. So what is it? 12 years?
10 years.
10 years rather,
10 years.
and a wealthy sum of money. Christian, what is your take?
Well, Under Armour is trying to sign Kevin Durant to a 10-year, $325 million contract, which is pretty insane to me, seeing that's a lot of money. I've never seen a shoe contract that big. Under Armour is also affiliated with Washington. As you know, in 2016, Kevin Durant will be a free agent.
and Washington will want to recruit him,
Yeah.
and other teams also recruiting him. But Kevin Durant, honestly think Kevin Durant should take this deal. I mean, you can't leave that much money off the table.
Yeah, you made some good points. 10-year, $325 million. That's a lot of money. I don't know if Nike's willing to offer him that much money, because he's one of the top guys who sells shoes. Everyone's buying the Durant shoes. But will I think he's signed with Under Armour? No, I think he stays with Nike. Rock Nation is his representation, and if I know anything about Jay-Z, he likes to stay fly. Nikes are fly. Under Armour's, I don't think so. You would not catch me in a pair of Under Armours ever. I mean, ever.
That's awfully true, but you know what? It's time to wrap off here. Let's do it all together.
In
your face.
4, 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to In Your Face. I'm your host, Carl Mogline, along with Ami Nelson to my left and Jake Liker to my right. Today on In Your Face, NFL edition. Our first topic, Josh Gordon suspended for the season, currently appealing after multiple run-ins with the law over marijuana possession. Ami, what do you think of the suspension?
I mean, it was marijuana possession. How did they know that he was even smoking it? I mean,
the technicalities,
that
yes,
is
those are
just-
very important, Jake.
Well, they do know that he was smoking it. The NFL drug test came out, and apparently he was 1 nanogram per milliliter over the threshold, which is 10% of the Olympic threshold. The NFL's drug system is completely outdated. And, Gordon actually just got unlucky. If they labeled bottle A, bottle B, he'd be fine right now.
But so are you saying that Josh Gordon should be playing in the NFL right now?
He certainly shouldn't be suspended for a season, especially after the way the NFL has handled other certain incidences a lot more lightly.
All right, how do you respond to this, Ami?
I think that I agree with Carl. With Jake. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Sorry. I mean, like the way that Roger Goodell has handled the Ray Rice situation is just astonishing, considering what he's done to Josh Gordon.
That is a very interesting point. Well, Ray Rice is not on this show. He still is something to remember. We move on to one of the more interesting divisions in football, I think. The NFC South. You've got multiple teams who could be in contention. You've got the Falcons, who just last year some people thought were going to be a Super Bowl contender. You have the New Orleans Saints, who are perennial division champions. Then you also have the Panthers, who are an up-and-coming team, and a Buccaneers team who just hired a new coach. So we'll go to you first, Ami. Who do you see topping the NFC South?
I think it's going to be the Lions, honestly. They have such a good coaching staff and such
The
a
South, not the Lions. The Lions are in the North.
They are in the North.
Yeah,
But
so
in
who
the
do you
South?
have in the South?
I think it's going to be the people from last year.
The Saints?
The Saints.
The Saints.
He picks the Saints. To Jake.
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, between the Panthers, the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons, I mean, Atlanta is reeling from such a disappointing season last year, caused by a lot of injuries and getting rid of key pieces like John Abraham. I think that's going to be the Buccaneers. I like bringing in Lovie Smith. I can't stand Greg Schiano. Getting
Well,
rid
I
of him
do.
was one
I
of
do
the
know
best
you-
decisions they could have made.
Oh, boy.
I love Josh McCown. I think this team is going to be fantastic when it comes to forcing turnovers. Great offseason, great regular season coming up.
All right, but and this actually, I'll continue on. Do you really think that Josh McCown could be a playoff leading quarterback in Josh McCown?
And he could lead this team out of the regular season into the playoffs. Do I think he's going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Absolutely not. But I have a lot of faith in this Buccaneers team. I like what they've done. They're moving in the right direction.
All right, I get what you're saying. Obviously, this is the team that brought Trent Gill for a Super Bowl ring, but you never know. Josh McCown, does he have NFL starter talent?
He does. Yeah, he does. He's just so good.
Yes, he is. All right, moving on to another division in the NFC North. You've got a couple of good teams in the Bears and Packers, but you know what I'm more interested about? The bottom of the division. Who's there? You got the Vikings, who just drafted Teddy Bridgewater. Still not sure if he's going to start over Matt Castle yet. You've also got the Lions, who are perennial, great offense and defense that steps on people. That is about the Lions. But Really, who is in the cellar in the north? Ami.
I think it's going to be the Packers. Honestly, they're just so bad at
The Packers.
everything.
Yep, that's definitely true. Yeah, Jake, what do you think about
There's
that?
only one thing the
bad at
Packers are bad at,
everything.
and that's staying healthy. I mean, this is a ridiculous proposition. You want to talk about the use of the word perennial. This team has won the division so many years in a row. They won the Super Bowl in 2010. They have the best quarterback in the league. Say they finished last place for the Lions and the Matt Castle-led Minnesota Vikings. Are we kidding here?
Well,
The Vikings.
well, it is Matt Castle,
the
you know.
Vikings.
It is Matt
Exactly.
Castle.
It is Matt Castle.
Well, I
That's
think
why
you
the
brought up a
Vikings
different.
are
Yeah, I think you brought up a
Vikings
very
last
interesting
place.
point in there. Best quarterback in the NFL. You said Aaron Rodgers. Please back up that statement.
Matthew Stafford.
You said best quarterback in the NFL.
Yes, and I think he's backed that up. All I need to see for him. You know, he won the Super Bowl. He's had fantastic record-setting seasons. Still holds the league record for highest quarterback rating in a season. He's been unbelievable.
Okay, well, how do you respond to the?
I mean,
Aaron
I think
Rodgers
John
situation?
Elway is just like the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. Well,
It's just
you know, with that great true statements, that'll wrap us up for In Your Face. We're Ami Nelson, Jake Leiker. I'm Carl Mogline. Have a wonderful evening.
Have a wonderful evening.
I'm Jeremy Schnell for this edition of In Your Face. And we are talking about Hawks versus Niners first. Isaac, go. Who do you got?
I got the Hawks this year. Hawks on top. I have them finishing with a record of 13-3. I think that they are better than the Niners in every category that matters. Look, I trust Russell Wilson more than Kaepernick. I think that he's a more consistent quarterback, makes fewer mistakes. I think the defense for the Hawks is quite improved. We look at who they lost, but then they've found replacements on the defensive line, losing Red Bryant, but then picking up people like Kevin Williams, the veteran from Minnesota, or in the secondary, players like Thorold Simon, filling in for players we lost like Browner. I think the Hawks, when they lose, they replace, and sometimes even better. So I think this is this year.
I think this is the Niners' year. They've been to the NFC Championship the past 3 years, made it to the Super Bowl one of those years. I think this is the year they finally step over the hump and get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. We saw them last year in the NFC Championship game lose to Seattle because of Richard Sherman's tip. That game was really even until that last drive. Niners offense is hands better than the Seahawks. Colin Kaepernick, I think he's a much better QB.
What do you think about this Ray Rice situation, boys?
I think the suspension was right. It's consistent with what they've had in the past. I think the Ravens should have taken measures on their own, but what the NFL did without having the knowledge of what actually went on in the elevator, they weren't allowed to view the clip. Looking at the past domestic violence suspensions, the NFL did what they had been doing, which is 2-game suspensions, which was about consistent with what they'd done in the past. But I think the Ravens should have taken their own initiative and suspended Rice for at least 6 games.
If Ray Rice is not an NFL running back, he was a normal person working for, let's say, Microsoft, and this was charged against him, he'd be immediately fired. He would be released. He would be gone from Microsoft. And I think this is what they should start to do with these
This
kinds
isn't
of
Microsoft, though.
situations.
It's the National Football League.
You should. I think you should treat the NFL like a business. The NFL is a business, and I think we should start to treat it like a business. If you make a mistake, you should be severely punished. Not 2 games. That's
right.
That's too lackluster. It's at least a season.
All right. Your opinion, man. All right. So AFC East, guys. Who you got in that division?
I like the Jets in the AFC East, to be honest. People are severely underrating the Jets' chances this year, but you look at what they've done in the offseason, picking up Eric Decker, picking up Chris Johnson, picking up Michael Vick, Muhammad Wilkerson, the Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. I know I'm talking to a Dolphins fan here.
Yeah.
I'm preaching to the wrong people, but I think after an 8-8 record last year with scoring the fewest touchdowns in football, the Jets can finish at least 9-7 this year, and I think Brady's over the hump, and I don't think the Patriots are talented enough all around to win this division.
I think you're wrong. I think that the New England Patriots, Tom Brady, with a healthy Rob Gronkowski, are the best team in the NFC East. Rob Gronkowski is arguably the AFC East. My bad. Rob Gronkowski is arguably the best tight end in all of football, maybe only to Jimmy Graham. You can't stop Rob Gronkowski, especially in a AFC East where
maybe
pass
defense in all 2 games he plays during the season.
Oh my god!
If he stays healthy, Patriots.
And he
this
doesn't
is
stay
theirs.
healthy. It's not going to happen. I don't trust him at all.
All right, before you guys get into a fist fight here, let's go on to the last topic, and that's the AFC West. Who you got, Isaac?
The AFC West is really exciting this year. We saw 3 playoff teams coming out of the AFC West this past season, and the Raiders are improved. I'm not going to lie. I think the Raiders look pretty good. But looking at the fact that the AFC West has to face the NFC West this year, the best defensive division, I like the chances of the Chargers, or the Broncos. Excuse me. I don't like the chances of the Chargers. I like the chances of the Broncos because they have the best offense. And facing tough defenses all season long is going to give them the best shot here. The Chargers defense, pretty good. The Broncos have a good offense, which can beat the Chargers defense. Chiefs defense.
The Broncos were really exposed during the Super Bowl, though, their offense.
Right, that's true. But I think they'll learn from their mistakes this season when they face the NFC West and the tough defenses of the Chargers and the Chiefs and even a little bit the Raiders. The Broncos with the best offense in that division win.
All right.
I think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs coming out of this division. A very explosive offense. Jamal Charles, possibly the best running back in all of football. So explosive and a good defense. They have a great front seven. I think they could really hold down the fort against Denver, San Diego, and these other powerhouses that have been in the AFC West for so long.
All right, for Isaac Glasser, Ian Martin, I'm Jeremy Chanel for In Your Face.
4, 3.
Hello, I'm Miles Walker alongside Joshua Gurovic and Liam Gentile, and you are here in Your Face. Our first topic, the World Series. Joshua, please give me your prediction right now.
I think that in the World Series for the AL, that it'll either be Detroit or Oakland. I think they both have great pitching staffs, and that will be from the AL. And then from the NL, it'll be between the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers, and I think the Milwaukee Brewers might surprise people and make it to the World Series.
I'm not going either or here. I'm going the Tigers and the Dodgers. I think the Tigers are going to beat out the A's if it comes to it. They're both bullpens are pretty solid, but I think that the Tigers lineup is set for a championship. And then I think that on the other side, the Dodgers, on paper it looks good. They haven't been producing so much, but I think that this is going to be their year, but I'm taking the Tigers to win it all.
And now we're going to move on to the NBA, and we're going to talk the Kevin Love trade that just recently happened. So please, Joshua, who do you think this works out more for, the Cavs or the Timberwolves?
I think that in the short run, it works out for the Cavs because they get a great player in Kevin Love who can shoot from the outside and also rebound like a beast. But in the long run, I think that the Timberwolves get the better of this trade with Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett, 2 former first-round picks, and then 2 other first-round picks that they get in later years. I think that in the long run, the Timberwolves get the better of this trade.
Liam, do you disagree?
I think that the Timberwolves get it better. I don't know what the Cavs were thinking, to be perfectly honest. Kevin Love is an undisputed all-star right now, but he's getting older, and I think Wiggins is going to be an all-star, but they get more years out of him. And he's a versatile kind of guy. He's a younger guy, and I think that he's more of an athlete at this point.
Okay, now we're going to move back on to football. Now we're going to talk Hawks and 49ers, 2 top-tier teams, but who do you feel as if is the better team between them, Joshua?
I think that if you had to put it between the Hawks and 49ers, the Hawks are a better team. But in that division, it's all about the Arizona Cardinals. I think that the Cardinals will come out on top of that division. They have a great secondary, a great defensive front four, and I think if Carson Palmer plays and is a good quarterback for them, with the offensive weapons like Pierre Garçon and Larry Fitzgerald, I think that they can come out on top of that division.
Oh, I'm going Hawks all the way. I mean, there's no question about it. I'm not being home team biased. I'm just going on paper here. They lost a little bit on defense, but they gained some of that back. On the wide receiver side, they got Paul Richardson, rookie. You're right. He's not a veteran in the NFL, but he is a really fast guy. He's a Percy Harvin clone almost, and he doesn't have the experience, but I think he's going to go really far with the Seattle team, and I'm going Seattle all the way throughout the Super Bowl, all the way gone. They have it all the way. I'm just saying.
And now let's segue into the next topic, Super Bowl predictions, Joshua.
I think that this will be a Super Bowl that no one envisions. I think it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals against the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons are greatly improved. Matt Ryan will come back and hopefully will win his first playoff game on to get to the Super Bowl. And I think that the Arizona Cardinals are an amazing team. I think that they have arguably the best defense in the league. So I think it'll be Atlanta against Arizona in the Super Bowl.
Liam, care to disagree?
What do you think? I'm disagreeing. I already said my Seahawks are going all the way. I'm going to pick an NFC team and an AFC team here. I'm going to go with the Seahawks and the Colts. The Colts are building some weapons here. They've got Reggie Wayne coming back from injury. T.Y. Hilton proved himself last year, but I'm still going with the Seahawks all the way. Like I said, Paul Richardson is going to beat him out.
That'll be it for us. Alongside my counterparts, Joshua Gurovic and Liam Gentile, I am Miles Walker, and this was In Your Face.
Hello, America. I'm Isaiah Hooper, and welcome to In Your Face Sports Show. I'm here with Ryan and Zach. Nick. And today we're going to have an arranged topic of sports topics in the headlines today. So first, we're going to talk about Johnny Manziel and how he's going to progress with the Browns instead of the Cowboys, unfortunately. So Ryan, how do you think he's going to do?
I think he won't start till possibly next year. I think Brian Hoyer is going to have a pretty good, solid year this year.
Okay.
Isaiah and I had both had the same reaction. I mean, it's Johnny Football. His name's Football. He's going to start in Cleveland, and they're going to make the playoffs.
Definitely.
That's what's happening. Johnny Football.
This is
That's all I gotta say.
Cleveland. This is Cleveland. Johnny doesn't deserve to be in Cleveland.
Johnny Football.
He deserves to be in the Cowboys. But okay, on to the next topic. We'll be talking about Kevin Love and his trade to the Cavaliers from the Timberwolves. So we'll start with Nick. What do you think about that trade with Andrew Wiggins and Kevin Love?
I'm a big fan of it from the Wolves' standpoint. I think they're getting Andrew Wiggins, who could be easily the next LeBron James.
Yeah.
But my big concern from the Timberwolves side is, will he perform the way I expected him to in Cleveland? If he does, Timberwolves, easy winner of that trade.
Well said, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kevin Love. He's top 2 power forwards in the league. And, I mean, they might have the better trade for the first 5 years, but if Wiggins performs to the highest ceiling he has, the Wolves will be unstoppable.
Well said also. On to NFL predictions. The Broncos, we'll start with Ryan this time. Broncos lost, unfortunately. How do you think they're going to do, though, coming back from that loss to the 49ers?
I don't...
Seahawks.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be able to win the division this year. I think they're too overrated. I mean, they might have gotten DeMarcus Ware. He's an old guy.
They did get DeMarcus Ware.
He's
Thank
an
you for
old
bringing
guy.
that up, and that's why the Broncos are going to make the Super Bowl. Peyton
Guys, Niner Patriots
Manning
Super Bowl.
is the greatest quarterback of all time in the regular season. And, I mean, come on. They've got a great defense. Their offense set records last year, and they have virtually everyone returning. Who's going to stop them?
Who cares if you're the greatest quarterback in the regular season? It's not the postseason.
Okay, you led them to the Super Bowl last year.
All right,
who you have beating them?
49ers.
In the Super Bowl, you said they wouldn't come out of the division.
All right, on to the next topic. World Series predictions. Nick, who do you think is going to win the World Series this year?
I'm going to have to say the Detroit Tigers versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. Tigers win 4-1 over the Dodgers.
Interesting theory, right?
No doubt, Tigers probably the best team in the American League. The only team that could catch them would be the Angels, and I think that'd be a close one. Angels not as experienced behind Hamilton and Pujols. Maybe they're 2 most experienced guys in the playoffs. I don't think they'd be able to get it. But on the NL side, I'm going to say it's going to be a Giants-Dodgers race. Division foes.
I agree with you. On to LeBron, probably the biggest topic right now in sports categories. We'll start with Nick. He's going back to Cleveland after he basically disgraced everyone there. What do you think about that?
Well, my standpoint is somehow, some way, this was fixed. I mean, 3 #1 picks in 4 years that LeBron was gone. That just seems suspicious to me somehow.
Then you make a great point. I mean,
he leaves. They get 3 picks, 3 #1 picks. He comes back. They trade him for Kevin Love. That's all I'm saying. Cleveland, what's going on over there?
What's wrong with the NBA? The NBA. I mean,
everything's messed up these days.
But LeBron James, excuse me, I think he's matured now going back to Cleveland. The way he left Cleveland was horrible.
Yeah,
if I was a fan of Cleveland, I would have burned all the jerseys. I wouldn't have burned just my jersey. I would have burned his house down. I mean, You should have
sure
seen
there
that
were
letter he
chances.
wrote when he was leaving.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so on to our next topic, the Lakers, and with Kobe Bryant, everyone's thankful for that, finally coming back after his injury. They're also getting Carlos Boozer and Jeremy Lin, which I love Jeremy Lin, a great player. I guess we'll start with Ryan. What do you think about that?
I mean, they got Swaggy P.
Probably best player in the Lakers right now, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
hope
I
they
mean,
come-
Lakers are going to win at most 32 games. I mean, this isn't a good team. Do you?
No.
Only
You
guy-
just said it yourself. They have Swaggy P.
Oh, what?
Lakers
So-
make the playoffs.
So nickname makes the
They
team.
also have Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, Jeremy Lin, Kobe, Carlos
Lin
Boozer,
Sanity isn't
Jordan
existing.
Hill, new head coach Byron Scott.
Boozer was amnestied. I
yeah,
mean,
Lakers picked him up.
if you're amnestied, that doesn't mean you should be on an
Are you
NBA
saying he's not a
team.
quality producer?
Well, both
They
of
couldn't
you,
even trade him.
both of you have solid points, but this is going to do it for In Your Face Sports Show. I'm Isaiah Hooper once again. This is Nick, and this is Ryan. We'll see you next time.
5, 4, 3.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Rubis with this edition of In Your Face. I'm here with my colleagues
Caroline Lynch and Aubrey Dabbs.
and our first subject that we'll be talking about today is the Ray Rice suspension. Do you think it was enough, too little? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that it's absurd that the NFL has to take care of it. Honestly, the law system should have been taking care of this themselves. We should not be relying on National Football League to punish a crime. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also going to say how, it might affect the offense, the Ravens offense. Mentally the players might be a little discouraged or think that, without him we can't win or we need him. But I mean, it's true though, the NFL should not handle this. But
Do you think the Ravens should handle it then, or the law?
I mean, I don't know. I think the law should, obviously, because it's pretty serious offense. But yeah.
See, the thing is, you're saying how the team's going to miss him and they might possibly fall apart with him. Okay, that's going to show how strong this team really is. This is when the team needs to pull out themselves and put on their big boy pants and play a game as a team, not because of a player. This should, it's going to hurt. If you get a boo-boo, it's going to hurt for a little while. But then after that, you should be like, oh, you know what? I'm okay. I'm going to be strong.
Okay, moving on to our next subject, the AFC West. Who do you think is going to take this one?
I think that the Chargers have a good chance this year. They're pretty strong and they've got confidence. They're not too confident to where it's cockiness, That's just where I stand.
I think it's going to be the Chargers or the Broncos. Broncos have Peyton Manning. They're coming off their loss in the Super Bowl, so I think they'll want to come back and fight and go back to the Super Bowl. And then the Chargers, they've gotten some new players, so I think that'll help their team.
What about the Chiefs? What do you guys think about the Chiefs?
Oh, goodness, the Chiefs. Haven't heard that name in a while. I don't know, maybe they could just come up and really take things strong for themselves. Honestly, I feel like in all of NFL, there's good chance the playing field is pretty level this year, in my opinion. I feel like everyone's got a good or decent quarterback. Exception of Manning, he's phenomenal. There's nothing else you can say about that. But there's also just the factor of so many injuries going on and then so many rookies being able to come up. This is a rookie's year to shine. This is going to be when the young guys take control and they form the NFL to what they want it to be. That's what I think.
And our last subject here, the World Series. Your predictions, go.
Oh, well, on a personal opinion, I would love to see the Cardinals in the World Series, just saying. But the reality of that is a little slim. I feel like the A's, they're really definitely going to be in the World Series this year. I feel like they actually possibly could even take it.
I think it's going to be Dodgers or Tigers. The Tigers have Miguel Cabrera and Justin Verlander, and then the Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw, Josh Beckett, who have both thrown two no-hitters. Their hitting has been good. They've been doing well. They had a 6-game winning streak. So I think it'll be both Tigers and Dodgers, but I think the Dodgers will win it.
Okay, that's all for this edition of In Your Face. Gabby Rivas, Aubrey, and Caroline. Thank you. See you next time.
Hi, I am Jake Goodman alongside with my partners,
Warren and Azari.
And JP Suarez.
And this is a special presentation of In Your Face. I will ask a couple of typical sports questions and you two will argue for as long as you can. All right, first off, is LeBron James returning to Cleveland a good idea?
You know, I think it's a great idea for LeBron coming back home. I think he belongs in Cleveland. He has loving fans there, and he'll be wishing that the Cleveland people didn't burn those jerseys.
All right, what about you? He said that it is a good thing.
I think it was a great idea for LeBron. He's going to boost the economy of the whole Cleveland city. And one important thing was he kept his number. That meant the fans didn't have to spend like $100 on buying new jerseys. And plus, they have a great team this year. They just newly acquired Kevin Love, and they have Kyrie Irving, the new Big Three. They're younger than the Big Three in Miami, and I think they have a chance to go all the way.
All right, so down to Los Angeles. Will the new coach for the Lakers, Byron Scott, lead the Los Angeles Lakers to the playoffs or even the finals?
I just don't think they're ready yet, because especially they're in the Western Conference. In the East, they probably could have, but in the West, there's just too much competition. There's the Rockets, there's the Thunder, there's the Spurs, even the Suns are coming. I feel like Lynn and Boozer will be a nice addition, but at best they're going to finish 40 and 42.
All right, so he said there's no way for them. What do you think?
You know, I actually think they have a chance. Certainly, they won't be in the top four, which usually includes OKC, San Antonio. But Byron Scott has had experience with the Lakers, of course, being the coach of the famous Showtime Lakers. New additions to the team like Jeremy Lin and Carlos Boozer. Kobe coming back off the injury, who's certainly Laker legend. I think they do make the playoffs, but it'll be tough.
Okay, so he says it'll be tough, but they will make it. He said there's no way. All right, so down to college football. UCLA, USC. Which one do you think has the better team?
In my opinion, it's between the two quarterbacks. And UCLA has a way better quarterback in Brett Hundley. Cody Kessler, he wasn't bad, but he kind of struggled in his year last year. But Brett Hundley, he's probably going to be a top 10 pick in the next NFL draft. And he is a high candidate for winning the Heisman Trophy.
All right, so he thinks he is the Heisman Trophy probably winner. So what do you think?
You know, I also think Brett Hundley's great. I don't think he'll win the Heisman Trophy, but certainly will be a top 10 pick in the NFL. USC will have a good season, probably not as good as UCLA's. They just have a very strong team, a strong coach, Jim Mora, and I think they'll have a better season than USC.
All right, so it's kind of opposition. All right, down to soccer. Champions League semifinals predictions. Let's start with you.
You know, I think it'll be a rematch in the first semifinal between last season's champions Real Madrid and German powerhouse Bayern Munich. And on the other side, I have Chelsea against another English team, Manchester City.
All right, so he has Chelsea and a couple others. What do you think?
The semifinals, I think it's going to be Barcelona and Real Madrid on one side, and then Manchester City versus Chelsea on the other side. I feel like Manchester City will prevail because they have more depth than Chelsea, and on the other side, I feel like FC Barcelona will win because they have the best player in the world, Lionel Messi. Who do you think is going to win it all, JP?
Well, I certainly think Real Madrid will repeat, but I think Chelsea will beat Manchester City in the final because, as you said, Manchester City has more depth, but you got to look at the starting 11 and the three reserves, the guys who are always coming in the middle of the game. Chelsea certainly has better guys, and they have been feeding off this summer on last year's second place winners of the Champions League, Atletico de Madrid. They have 4 new transfers from their team. They'll have a strong team, but I think the Whites from Madrid, Real Madrid, will win once again.
All right, so what about Barcelona? Do you think they'll go all the way and probably win the finals?
I think it's Barcelona. I feel like with their big additions, with Luis Suarez, even though he's going to be out, he'll eventually return, and he's going to be great with Lionel Messi. I feel like Barcelona could overcome Real Madrid and Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, and their new addition from Colombia, James Rodriguez.
Yes, but how do you think that they're going to bounce back with the retiring of their legend Xavi?
Yeah, how do you think about that?
It will be hard, but Barcelona, they're still a pretty young team. They have great Spanish stars, and they're going to come away and prevail.
All right, so that's it for In Your Face. I am Jay Goodman alongside with
the above average Borna Nazari
and the specialist JP Suarez.
This has been In Your Face. Goodbye.
If someone interrupts right now, we are not pardoning them. This is In Your Face. This is Nick Huang, and this is Nathan Morales, and this is Daniel West. Let's start off with baseball. Do you have a problem with the pitcher hitting in the National League?
I do. There's certain positions, every single sport. Quarterback, what does he do? He throws it. Would you want to see Dan Marino at wide receiver? Do you want a wide receiver playing, like, I'm not too sure, middle linebacker? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to play a position, classify yourself in that position. Jimmy Graham, he can play wide receiver, but he chooses his position. So it doesn't make any sense if you throw the ball that you hit it in National League. It's a real life job. You should choose your own thing and stick with it.
Okay, so you want to see the designated hitter in the NL2? That makes sense. All right.
Well, I think like if there's a dead DH, whether or not it's a DH or the pitcher's gonna hit, you should either have both leagues have a DH or both leagues don't have a DH. You should have it the same. So there's no AL difference between the AL and NL.
That makes sense. So both leagues did have no DH for a while, and now you're looking to see both have a DH. All right, let's move on to the NFL with a bit of a soccer twist to it. Usually don't put those together, but you had the Major League Soccer All-Star game last night. Football and football, the two footballs. Okay, so last night we had the Major League Soccer All-Star game, and people are actually talking about it. So, with that in mind, the way that the MLS does it, of course, is all the MLS All-Stars on one team, and then on the other team is someone from Europe. So, with that in mind, with that kind of twist, what do you think is the better All-Star game right now? The MLS All-Star game, or let's say the Pro Bowl, perhaps?
I'm not going to disagree. The soccer, I might not like it, but I should. It's an amazing sport. The All-Star game's very well, but look at football. It's American football. We're Americans. America, am I right? We listen to it. We want to watch it. Yes, in soccer, we just see people kicking the ball and it's hard to get through. Football, you see people tackling each other, diving catches, amazing plays. Soccer has amazing plays, but this is America. We play sports we want to. Soccer, I can't disagree. It's a great All-Star game, but if you look at the football, you look at Peyton Manning, amazing player. You see a Patrick Willis, J.J. Watt hitting each other down full force. Do you see that in soccer? No.
Yeah, well, the question is which is a better All-Star game. I think the MLS is a better All-Star game. For the Pro Bowl, they're not really playing. Did you see that? What was it this past Pro Bowl? There's a lineman that scored for 64 yards. He ran the ball. They don't care.
If you look at it, you see players. Patrick Willis. Would you be scared of him? Even if he wasn't trying, he's like 6'7", big and black, and he's just gonna come at you full force, hit you down. You see what he does to people? You see what football does? Name a good...
Yeah.
You see what it does? You see how fun it is. You see how interesting it is. You see how fun... You just see how amazing
it
is.
It is fun. It is fun, but that's not, you're not answering the question. The question is which is the better All-Star game.
It's better because you get into the game.
So you're saying the Pro Bowl, is the Pro Bowl a better...
Be quiet, Daniel.
Ding. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the passion here with both of that. We don't have all day, sadly. All right, in that MLS All-Star game, the head coach of Bayern Munich decided not to shake hands with the MLS All-Star coach, Caleb Porter, because of some kind of dirty-ish tackles he felt were going on. So do you think that was a unsportsmanlike thing? Should they have shaken hands at the end of the game?
I'm going to tone it down, sorry guys, but NFL.
Okay, yes, continue.
That was just a bad move. We see people do that in the NBA, right, Nick?
Yeah, but they don't.
We just see people like kind of go for the high five slip. We saw Serge Ibaka hit Blake Griffin in the genitalia area, and that's just impolite disrespect. You don't want to disrespect a team like that. You're all humans. You're all in the NBA. You're all great coaches, but you shouldn't do that. That's disrespecting other people. Nonetheless, disrespecting one of your colleagues.
Right. Yeah, I think well, I think with the Bayern coach had the right to do it. I feel like he was he was right in a way that he didn't shake his hand, but at the same time, you have to remember, Bayern, this is their preseason tour. The MLS, they're already in full season, so Bayern's still trying to get their feet wet underneath them. They need to. I know Bayern was they're pretty angry about some of the tackles that happened, but not to shake hands is just saying that you're not being a good sport.
And the old thing about football, I said, in football you see major tackles, but in football you see slide tackles. Slide tackles, if you see American football, you know how bad tackles are with them going like helmets falling off. Football slide tackles, it's pretty good, but slide tackles.
Yes, I'm sorry. We are out of time for now, but this has been a great discussion. I hope you two keep this going afterwards because this is kind of fun. For Nathan Morales, who's over there, your name?
Nick Wong.
Okay, my two roommates here forgot their names. I'm Daniel West. Thank you.
Nathan Morales.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.